Zen thief story. How does that connect with creativity? So this is a wisdom Zen story. I think that it shows creativity in a very different light. Enjoy the story. We'll consider the wisdom at the end. Creativity tales. Once there was a thief in an ancient land of the highest order. He was so revered that at a time it was a matter of prestige if your house was robbed by this particular thief. But then the thief got old and he was sort of retired for a while. When his young son comes up to him and says, "Father, I want to learn the trade. Can you teach me how to rob and steal?" So the father says, "Son, I've been out of this business for a long time because through this journey, I realized that the bigger thing that I wanted to rob was actually from the Lord or from the divine. And so I'm not interested in robbing humans anymore. But nonetheless, if you want to learn the trade, I'll teach you." So the son is excited and says, "Yes, father, thank you." And that night, they both break into one of the wealthiest homes in the region. The son is amazed at the kind of swiftness of the father, how quickly the father navigates the landscape, how soundless and smooth and quick he is. He quickly navigates which would be the most important room to get into. The father gets in and he tells the son, "Do you see that closet? That is the biggest place to go. So go there and pick whatever you want to rob." So he opens the door, the son enters the closet. As soon as the son enters the closet, the father turns the key. The son is just trying to grapple with what just happened. And then the father starts to rustle to get out of the room. And on his way out, he raises an alarm. "Thief! Thief!" The son is in deep shock. He can't believe what his father just did to him. His father just locked him in and raised an alarm. And the father took off. The son, in his state of deep panic and grappling with so many mental problems, that how could his father have done this to him? And how could he possibly get out of this situation? He starts to hear all the sound of hustle bustle around, with all the staff and owners wondering, "Where's the thief? Where's the thief?" When suddenly the boy comes to the peeking hole of the key and he sees the maid hovering around there. So he quickly just thinks out of the box and finds the voice of a cat coming out of him. And he wonders, where did that sound come from? It came out of him. The maid, thinking that the cat had gotten trapped in the closet, comes and turns the key to the closet. This boy springs out and he quickly blows the candle which she was holding. Did he have time to think? He didn't. He just raced. He raced out and swiftly somehow got out of the house. But now everybody was following him and chasing him to catch him. He was racing and running and panting. He ran with such force and such energy that he didn't think he had. Finally, having the entire house chasing after him, he got exhausted and started to sense that now I'm really running out of energy. And nearby, he saw a well and thought that this is a deep well. He just acted on impulse. There was a big heavy stone lying down next to the well. He picked it up. He couldn't believe that he actually picked up a stone of that weight and he threw it into the well. That made a big splash and the boy quickly ran into the bushes. The entire house that came thought that the boy had jumped into the well to avoid being caught and had died because that well was so deep. So finally, they just went back, thinking that the boy had done a stupid thing and jumped into the well. The boy now was just recovering. He couldn't believe how he had got away alive. And weary and tired and exhausted, he comes back home. When he gets home, he sees his father peacefully asleep. He is in such anger and rage. He goes to the father, shakes him awake, and says, "Father, how could you do this to me? How could you set me up?" So the father smiles and says, "Oh, you're back. You made it back alive. Good. You have learned to be a thief." The boy is just stunned beyond words. He says, "Father, why did you do this to me?" So the father just looks at him and smiles and says, "Didn't you ask to learn how to be a thief?" He says, "I put you in exactly the conditions that you would need in order to inhabit this profession. And you came back alive. So now you've learned how to steal. Go and sleep." So don't get caught up with the fact that this is a thief, robber story and wonder that where do you find yourself or your identification? Well, on the other hand, if we think about society, the society in which we live, there's so much of theft and robbery anyways happening at so many different levels that if we were to look, we would see that in society. And in our current times, where intellectual property is just being taken, you find one reel and then you find millions of the same. So isn't that stealing in a way? So the moral of this story can be understood from the words of the famous artist, painter Picasso. He would say that a good artist copies, but a great artist steals. What he meant by that can be seen in this story, that the boy initially tries to copy the father. He wants that support. He wants to feel that I need to copy to be able to feel confident. And so he starts off like that. But once you jump into the creative realm, you realize that then you just have to find your way out. Nobody can save you. Nobody can guide you. You just have to rely on yourself, your instinct, and you just have to trust on the natural support that always shows up when you have dared to just jump in. They always say jump and the net will appear. So that's actually what the creative journey is. That do not copy, steal. What it means is dare. Just go into it, dive into it. You'll figure out your way. Creative